In this video, we are going to do an overview of the scraping with Pythons. What are different tools available in Python that you could use for web scraping? And web scraping is something very useful and has many different applications. It could be as simple as extracting pricing information for a product database, or as it's the case in many different scenarios, we have a machine learning project and we need a large training data set for a model. So we want to collect these data by scraping sources from the web. And in both these examples, web scraping plays a very important role in completing the project. It's as simple as not having the data, the project is not going to run. So that is why web scraping and being efficient with that becomes critical. So being said that, it seems that web scraping is actually a critical skill that you need when you plan to become a data scientist. So in this video specifically, I'm going to go very briefly over pros and cons of 3 different Python web scraping frameworks that are quite famous and many people are using them, and they are Selenium, Beautiful Soup, and Scrapy. We are going to just briefly discuss what are the pros and what are the cons, and in future videos, we are focusing only on the one that I think it is more suitable for this course, because some of these tools are quite advanced for an introduction to data science course. But anyway, we are going to know and have an understanding of what possible options we have in this field. And in future, if you're interested, you could try yourselves the other ones. I'm actually going to give a link at the course page to one of the other tools available. So let's start with Beautiful Soup. Beautiful Soup is the first framework that we're going to go over, and overall Beautiful Soup is very well rounded. You see, it is very popular and many people in all the stages from beginners to advanced are using Beautiful Soup, and it is for good reasons. The first positive thing about Beautiful Soup is that it is known for being very user-friendly. It is very simple to use. Basically, you could extract HTML, XML elements from a web page with just few lines of codes that even when you're reading through the code, it's very intuitive and you understand why you're doing what you're doing. So in that sense, Beautiful Soup is a good option. And also, it's pretty easy to learn. They're not that much complication when it comes to learning the Beautiful Soup, and Beautiful Soup is what we are going to focus on in this course. And I'm going to have another video a bit more detailed on how to use Beautiful Soup when you're scraping a website, and potentially in your future mini projects this is the tool that you're going to use. But it's not all good and rosy. There are some drawbacks as well, and one major one is that Beautiful Soup is a slow web scraper, and this is not a small drawback. Basically, for large data sets, it takes a long time to be able to download what you're interested in, and it is noticeable bottleneck and a slowdown. So this is what you need to have in mind when your larger projects. Is Beautiful Soup your choice, or you're preferring to do something else? So the next one is called Selenium, and the interesting story about Selenium is that Selenium, first and foremost, was developed to facilitate automated web testing. But then, as a time passed, it actually found the label of being a web scraper as well. And this specifically makes Selenium quite versatile because it could be used for automated testing and at the same time for web scraping. For example, if the web scraping that you need to be done is in a web application that will also need to be automatically tested, then this is where you need to go with Selenium. This is your clear choice, basically. So because it does both tasks at the same time, it's like killing two birds with the same stone. So this is one of the positive points with Selenium. Another one is that Selenium is actually pretty good when it comes to working with JavaScript and the document object model. While Beautiful Soup is mainly used for HTML and XML parsing, Selenium can scrape information regarding the JavaScript used on a web page. And this could become very useful since many websites, especially e-commerce websites, now use JavaScript to load their content. And you can tell it whether it's what is used on the website or not by looking for the script tags. And if you see those sites that like you're using JavaScript to load some content, then Selenium is what you need to go with when it comes to web scraping. As similar to the previous one, Selenium also has its drawbacks, and it is a fact that it is not user-friendly, or at least it's not as user-friendly as Beautiful Soup, because it is not designed to be a web scraping tool. I mean, in the pros, I said that it is a positive point that it is not a web scraping tool by default because we can do several things, but it actually is a con as well because at the same time, the learning curve is quite steep when it comes to learning Selenium, since it's not originally developed to be a web scraper. So this is another thing that you need to have in mind how much you want to invest in learning the tool actually, and it becomes important. And Selenium is also slow when you want to scrape large amounts of data, and so it is similar in that sense to Beautiful Soup. And on that note, let's talk about the tool that is not as slow when it comes to scraping large data sets. And oops, I forgot this. And this is a Scrapy. A Scrapy is quite fast and efficient, and this is because it is written with a popular event-driven networking framework for Python, and it gives Scrapy some capabilities. For instance, it does not have to wait for a response when handling multiple requests, and that is actually a very positive point because it runs faster and right out of the box, and that is one of the major reasons if you want to use a Scrapy. It's fast and efficient. Another positive point about a Scrapy is its portability. Scrapy is written in Python, and unlike Beautiful Soup, it requires no dependencies. And then it makes life easier when you want to move your piece of code because very probably it's going to work on all operating systems. And there is one big con with the Scrapy, and it is similar to Selenium in that sense. Its user friendliness is quite down. So, well, I mean, you could find plenty of documentation, tutorials, YouTube videos, and everything online, but still it needs a good amount of prerequisite knowledge and quite a bit of setup when you want to start using a Scrapy. Still, it is one of the pro tools in a sense in this field. So I'm going to link a YouTube tutorial in course web page in case you're interested to know more about a Scrapy, but this is not part of the course material. It's just your for own personal knowledge. So if I want to say in short, the three frameworks that we went through here were Beautiful Soup, Selenium, and a Scrapy. And we also discussed when you should and you could and use them, or when it's not really that advisable to use them. So Beautiful Soup is the best option when you're at your beginning stage. It's like where we are here today. You are just taking your first steps into the field of data science, so Beautiful Soup is basically your go-to tool. And Selenium is the clear choice when you have the combination of web scraping and automated testings, because, I mean, as I said, it is how it has been designed to begin with. And when you have a large amount of data and you want it to be the scraping to be done fast, probably a Scrapy is your go-to tool then. This is all for this video. I'm going to, as I said, to go a bit in more details with web scraping with Beautiful Soup, and I'm going to also introduce another way of getting data from the web, which is not web scraping. Good luck and see you in next video.